Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host BKP. It's time for the All-Star Political Panel, and it's also we're celebrating Festivus. You know that?
For the rest of us?
For the rest of us.
Yeah.
I figured we have Rick. I want to sit next to you.
Thank you so much.
I want to sit next to Jane. I always sit next to Jane.
Took a shower this morning.
I'm telling you,
Hey.
the producer is out of here. This guy's out of here. So we have Rick, Jane, Candace, and how's everybody?
I'm well. Thank you.
I hear you all are leaving immediately after the show to go participate in the hand recount in Florida. Are you riding together?
Did you see the line of the people that want to get in that mess? Oh,
The recount?
yeah.
Oh,
So she had to
I
send
thought there'd be more
we're in
lawyers.
send me a
trouble.
link so I could watch it and
we're
feel
deep
better.
trouble.
Yeah.
Deep.
You know, I love it because we're sitting here and now they're going to hand count. She missed by, no, that's you. Don't look at me.
I'm sorry.
You.
That's probably me texting
It's
you saying,
Brenda.
I'm late, I'm at the red light.
It's Brenda Snipes. She wants to know if you guys can come along.
Missed by 2 minutes.
You don't think that was by design, do you?
Snake.
Right, 2 minutes. If they didn't get it in by whatever time, then automatically the state kicks in a hand recount. Was it 8?
800 votes that were being left off because they didn't finish. And they were in favor of guess who? Nelson.
I'm surprised they did something with it.
No, not Nelson.
Oh, they were in favor of Scott.
Scott, sorry.
But that's not the real thing that they're doing there. They want to get the Department of Agriculture Commission switched to Democrat. You want to know why? You don't hear anything about this. They have the process for your hand counting. You can still carry and carry. Anyone that owns the process owns the way things get done. It gets slow walked, it gets to the side. So that's something you don't hear about, but in the recount, Mickey Freed has turned over the that you don't hear about. All you hear about is the governor and the senator. But this is the one that they want because the Democratic agenda is to get rid of all of our guns. They've already said that.
The head of ag in Florida is one of the most important positions in the state, bar none.
Really?
And
Yeah,
that's
Because of all the, because of that,
Yeah.
because of all the juice production.
Yeah,
It's a
the
very
ag
huge.
commissioner.
Why do they control the
Dairy.
dairy that bad?
that's where the permits.
Why is this
Doesn't, I
But
don't
that,
make
you
no
don't
sense
hear
to
about
me.
that, do you? You don't hear about any problems or any because they're focusing on the senator and the governor, and that way they can go over here and do what they're doing, which is probably not right.
That's
Allegedly,
why people tune into FYN to get the real story.
that's right. You have to
story
know
behind
the
the
real
story.
story.
Well, you know, I like, and I know you know this, I will watch things and try to hear words that I focus in on. And the word now is a voter's intention. They're trying to
Read
they're going
their
to be
mind.
looking
From
at
the grave
right,
even.
what was your
Yeah, those
intention
dead people
when you
vote
voted?
Democrat.
And that just blows me away. We're going to have people hand count again, and some will make decisions based on what they thought your intention was when you
Well,
voted.
you didn't vote for the governor's race, but you voted Democrat for the senator, so you must
Right.
mean that you wanted to kill him.
Unbelievable.
Sometimes
That's
I don't
exactly
vote for
what's
somebody
been
because I
said.
don't want to.
It's been said that actually, it's been said that Nelson's election and Gillum's election were in 2 different areas of the ballot, and people went in confused
Yeah.
of where it was and missed it.
Right.
I'm sorry, we've
I think
got
Nelson,
to...
went Nelson down in the middle of
Yes, but we've got to come to a
They did
point
that on
where
purpose.
if you don't have... Well, let me just say this. Every time they do a poll, they talk about the college-educated Democrats, right?
Yeah.
And the non-college educated or non-college Republicans, right?
non-college.
Well, it seems to be the
Non-college
non-college white. It seems to be the
Yeah.
the uneducated white Republicans are smart enough to find the damn places on the ballot to vote, and the educated ones with a degree can't find the areas to do it right.
You know, I
mean, am I missing something here? Oh, so you have a college degree? Oh, I can understand why you don't know where to go vote. I can understand why you can't use a GPS to get there. I can understand why you can't go get a driver's license. You have a college degree. Oh, sorry. You're a dumb white guy, but you have. It's something.
And people like Jane and our husbands tell us where it's at, so it's okay.
Bill got a text from a friend and said, "Gosh, my grandmother and grandfather and my father were a Democrat." He said, "I just learned that." He said, "They never would have done that when they were." I thought that was kind of cute.
Also, Florida. Well, first of all, things up because we're not going to be here next Friday, and then we're going straight into the Christmas season, which I kicked off now. So why I officially festive. So every Friday from here on out, we're going to have the airing of the Christmas. Okay?
And eggnog.
All right. No, not the
not
airing.
Sweaters.
Airing of the Christmas. You know, anyhow. Okay, what do you think happens in Florida? What do you think when it's done? Now the recount. DeSantis, it's a done deal. He's the governor of Florida. All right.
They did announce
That's
that
what
this
they
morning.
said.
Yes.
Even though
So
Gillum's not.
Florida obviously didn't monkey that one up. Okay.
They tried. Didn't they try?
To say, I didn't say
You said it.
Florida overwhelmingly voted Republican, and that's why there's all this brouhaha about
So where'd the
maybe
intent
your
go?
intention is wrong.
Okay, so what do you think happens with Nelson? What do you think happens in that race after the hand count?
Are you referring to staple cheeks? That's what Rush calls him. That's not my. That's not my.
calls him
My
name.
husband
Staple
says he
cheeks.
looks
Staple
like a
cheeks.
skull.
Oh, I think he looks like a lizard right here. Right here. Have you ever seen that?
Well, we figured we're going to get some plastic surgeon in for this guy.
I said something the other day. I call him Plastic Man or something.
Yeah.
Because he is totally.
He's weird.
Yeah. So yes, he is.
I think that the Scott will get
Since it was a
some
bad
better
face.
safety.
Huh?
It was a bad face.
Rivers had one, you know.
I don't know.
Can we move past that? That's kind of wanting your opinion,
Wandering around.
not on his plastic cosmetic surgery. What is his opinion on what you thought the race would turn out to be in Florida? You think it'll finally be Scott?
I think it will.
After Arizona, I don't know.
Arizona was a
Sally lost
shocker.
that. That was the stunner of the century.
Stunner?
I don't
I
know.
mean, a woman who is a Marine fighter pilot
yeah.
against a woman who says, "Go fight ISIS
Yeah.
if you want to. I don't care."
I think you said a mouthful when you said she lost it.
Yeah,
I
she
think
didn't.
she quit. I think she quit.
Like Sally?
Yeah.
You think she quit?
I do. I do.
When, at what stage? Before?
No,
or
after the
she
election,
said, okay,
she
yeah,
didn't want to
make
fight.
a fuss.
She didn't want to fight about it. She didn't want to. Jeff Flake.
Why is he talking? That's my question. Why are you talking? You are leaving at the end of this year.
Lame duck,
Shut up.
Just say it. Now stay with me when you catch on to this. Don't go yelling, hey, I get it. So, John?
I know where you're going.
He did it all over.
Arizona, right?
And we're going all the way
You want them to
Supposed
wonder
to
what
follow the
happened to you
rules.
after the commercial?
I don't know where you're
Chill.
going yet.
All right, stop. So John McCain's from Arizona. All right. Where was Joseph Lieberman from? Connecticut.
Connecticut.
You're going to be out. You're going to be out, Joseph. You're out here, Alice.
That's the question.
Okay, Connecticut, right? So, then at McCain's funeral, Lieberman gets up there and he says, John came to me and said, why don't we run together? And I said, but John, I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican. And he said,
Not really.
that may be exactly
At the
what
time he
this
was.
country needs, right?
Yeah.
Where's Chris Coons from? Connecticut. Flake, Arizona. They show up everywhere together. Everywhere.
Is this deja vu or what?
It's Vuja
No,
Day.
you can't say it that way. You have to do it the way Yogi Berra said it. This looks like deja vu all over
again.
You can't do it that way. You can't be on the show. Yogi said it's like but no, I'm just saying, I don't know the parallel. But the other day, I mean, it's like every time I turn around, Flake and Coons are there. This friendship, and that Joseph Lieberman at McCain's funeral saying, John said, but that is exactly what this country needs right now. That phrase scares the daylights out of me with the two of them. I'm going to go, if I'm doing some Vegas betting, I'm putting a couple chips on. I'm putting a couple chips on Flakes and Coons runs together for president.
I'm gonna vomit. Do you hear my back?
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm putting a couple chips on.
No. If
Well,
Flakey
that
Coon,
could-
that's
well-
not
I
what we
haven't got
need.
anyone else.
Who's going to be the presidential nominee?
I'm trying to figure out who goes. I'm trying to figure out who will take the lead. But there's Coons. He went out in the Kavanaugh thing, and he came back, and Chris Coons, and they saved America by giving the FBI a week to look into nothing.
You know who I think the
Nothing,
front runner
right?
is?
But he did, him and Chris, his friend, right? They went on all the shows, and they just went the process. And now Flake says, well, if we don't protect Mueller, and I want this to the floor, I will not approve another, right? So who goes on TV? Chris Coons and Flakes, right? Just saying.
I mean,
All right, I got two chips. I'm not going to roll to one black. I got two chips
Who's the
right
front
now.
runner?
That
Michelle
President.
Obama.
Really?
I think she'll run.
Michelle-
All right, I'm going with
Obama.
the Jeff Flakes, and I'm going with Jeff Flake. Flake or
If
Flake?
I were they, I would go with
Flake.
Michelle.
Jeff Flake
I think
and Chris Coon. I think.
Well,
Watch out.
Hillary says she's running again.
Can you
Sort of,
imagine
kinda.
Hillary and Michelle?
Well,
You know, Michelle has a big following, and look at the problems
Mucho.
Trump will come into head first with a black woman, Michelle Obama. I mean, to say anything, he's degrading women. I mean, it would be
he's got
it
more
would
women
be a disaster.
in his
Michelle will run.
administration.
Well, I think that's who I would
I didn't
put
want to
up.
go there. You brought up Jeff Flake, so you're
Yeah.
upset, and I
I
am
am.
too.
I want
I
him to
agree
shut
with you.
up.
Right.
That
You
isn't
know?
going to happen.
Well,
I
he
mean,
stands
how
on the
many-
floor.
How many people are they going to try to put in as a judge between now and Christmas? Probably not any.
No, they won't vote till. And Michelle's on the cover in the grocery store the other day. Michelle's on the cover of People or something. This big picture. I've heard her name raised once on a talk show, but they're going to be floating her. They will.
Well,
float
Jeff Flake's
her
on the floor, and
seriously.
he's yelling about protecting Mueller because of Whitaker, right? Is that his name, Whitaker?
Whitaker.
Matthew
And no
Whitaker?
one said a
Whitaker.
word
Matt
against
Whitaker,
Mueller at
right?
all.
Nobody has said a word, right? But he's on the floor
Everyone's
that
afraid to.
the American people want Mueller, the investigation protected. I don't really think they do. And then he's on the
had a bait
floor
of it.
talking to Coons. He's on TV, MSNBC, and he's talking with Coons and them, with Coons and the other two, about the caravan and the military down there is just all a stunt. Mattis went down there. He's not calling it a stunt.
I think he
No.
debunked that in a
Yes,
hurry.
and I think
He's
if you
not.
watch the ones trying to come over the wall and climb over the wall, it's not a stunt down there.
Did anybody hear this morning, or did you mention it possibly in the opening when I was traveling down here, that Stacey Abrams is now going to sue for a redo? You've been saying that all
I
week.
heard that.
No, I
I
didn't.
heard it.
She's
I saw it on
suing for a
Facebook.
And on
redo.
what grounds?
Because.
Did you say
Yeah, what
she
grounds?
wanted to sue
Because.
for a redo?
Because.
Oh, I mean, you
I
gotta
told
have,
you that. I played it the other day.
I know you
I
did.
did a whole segment, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said, what did I say? I said, forget the recount. She wants a redo.
She wants a redo.
And so that's
You
what
mean
you're talking about?
vote all over?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
she wants a redo.
A mulligan.
Well, let's
what
do
that's
that in
gonna-
Arizona.
You know what that's going to cost the taxpayer?
Are they going to do it?
I don't know.
They're afraid
On what
not to,
grounds does she
probably.
say? Oh, the votes with the look.
Precedent. There's
If
someone.
you can't take a signature and compare it, what can you do?
The
I mean,
grounds.
that
The
is
grounds are going to. The grounds are going to be a
It's-
precedent.
This is don't fall off the chair. You ready? Seriously.
I'm ready.
It's not the fact of the votes. Forget votes. It's the fact you intended to vote and you didn't go. Am I right or wrong? As crazy as that sounds, is it right? They have found all kinds of people that intended to vote, But the
Are
line
you
was
serious?
too long.
The line was so long, my employer was going to fire me.
Oh, and they
please send
extended
in your personal stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that we can
You
chronicle
go.
them.
No, she's got personal stories.
Yeah.
Affidavit of.
She asks
personal
for 'em
stories
every
at the
day.
Yeah.
So what? I mean, this is out. This is
We don't
outrageous.
take excuses.
We're done for.
Let me
If
tell
this
you.
happens, we're
But
done.
it's true, right?
Exactly.
She-
It's a total
she is-
unraveling of process.
I'm gonna go down.
done.
I'm gonna go deeper.
Go.
Go.
I'm gonna go deeper on this one, and I want to. We've talked about this, but it's been a while back. All of the election stuff that's going on right now, I think there's an undertone that was started the last 11 days of the Obama administration when he and J. Johnson, Homeland Security,
Right.
declared that the entire voting infrastructure would come under the purview of Homeland Security.
Right.
That was 2 years ago, almost to the day. And I still believe that there's this undercurrent for the federal government to take over the whole election process. And they did it under the guise of, we need to make sure that there's nobody hacking. Now, who was the one guy that stood up 2 years ago and said it's a government overreach, it's an attempt by the feds to take over our local and national elections? Kemp. Brian Kemp.
That's right.
Read it. It's there.
Brian
It's in.
You know
It's
what this is?
chronicled, and I got it right here on the paper. I
If
was
they
shocked.
set precedent to stop the election, they can try to stop Donald Trump being reelected.
Exactly.
That's it. You're right.
There's a whole undercurrent.
No, you're digging deeper, but you're 100%
That's
right.
a whole undercurrent
You're
going on.
100% right.
And all they're doing is they're making these pockets of resistance all over the country for them to come back now and say, we've got to do something about this for 2020. How many times have you heard that?
And they know that last time they weren't prepared, quote unquote,
Yep.
to turn it over nefariously.
Okay,
This
don't
time they are.
believe any of it. No, I was wondering if there was like a fraction somewhere I could say, well, you could believe. Don't believe any of it, because I'm sitting here, and as soon as you purchase this in the store, and that gets scanned, we have computer systems that reorders it.
Oh, yeah.
The minute it goes across the scanner, it knows that can left their store. It knows that can needs to go back on the shelf. And there's zero reason in this country that you don't vote. It spit you out a barcode. You tear it off, and you go over to somebody before you leave, and they scan it, and it goes beep, and we know you voted. And it's done, and there is no possible you went in. And I tell you all the time, I don't believe in early voting. Early voting gives you 3 extra weeks for them to do something.
To cheat.
Yes,
I agree.
I don't believe in. I believe in setting five nursing home, assisted living, out of the country for some reason. Military, but about 5 top reasons. That's it for a paper ballot of an absentee. An absentee is not, and I'm sorry folks if you get upset the way I say, an absentee is not in lieu of voting because you're too lazy to get off your ass and go vote. Well, I'm serious. What do you think?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I think they should.
Confirmed,
We've said
you know.
it time and time again. It should be a national holiday. The day that everybody gets off of work, except for the typicals, and those are the people that need an exception in your.
I think it's a paper ballot. It's a paper ballot. You
With the
sign
punches.
every one of them. You compare the signature. I mean, they're going to have to get the.
But wait a minute. Okay, paper ballot, I'm fine with that. But guess what? At the bottom of the paper ballot, a barcode. So you go over. You go over.
Right.
Right.
But you got a receipt. With the
You
paper.
go over with the paper
it's supposed
ballot
to be
and
in
you
the
put
big
it
house.
in.
If someone votes for again in your name, you're saying kicks it out, right?
Well, no, yeah.
What if
but
someone?
What I'm saying is, you got a paper ballot. Okay. You got a paper ballot, and you go in and you fill out your paper ballot, and you're done, and you got a barcode. you give them your paper ballot, they scan the barcode, and there's one paper ballot and one on the computer, and it matches up that one person to one person voted, and it's done, and it tells you the time you voted, when you voted. I mean, we got.
Well, here's a caveat.
Democrat, is this true? That there's so much information. My understanding right now that they're looking into, the Florida Democratic Party encouraged people to vote 2 days after the polls closed.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, here's
saw
the
that.
caveat though. Yesterday, I was doing something about my Social Security, which I hadn't thought about doing and lost a bunch of money. However, I went online to set up an account. I put in my Social Security number that I've had since I was 14, my address, where I was born, my mother's maiden name. It says, this isn't you, this doesn't match. And I'm saying it matches. So the caveat would be, I go to vote, barcode comes out, it says you've already voted. I haven't already voted. I'm standing here. I mean, you know, they can mess that up too. I don't think it's a bad idea, but you got to look at all the.
Well, and for the military,
I just like the old. Everyone on the board. You got to bring your ID. You have your signature on it, and you got to, you know. And I don't know.
Well, there's this major push: count every vote. Count every vote. Every vote deserves to be counted. And I'm thinking to myself, do you think there's a time when you don't deserve to vote?
if you're a felon.
If you're a felon,
Okay.
currently,
All right.
that's trying to be changed. They're trying to change that
I think
too.
if you're 18 years old, all right, if you want to vote at 18, all right, so fine, 18 you can vote. But I think if you're 18 years old and you do not have the understanding to go register and where to register, and you don't have the understanding to register properly, okay, and you don't have the understanding to find out where your polling location is, you can certainly find out where all your friends are drinking on Friday night
Yeah.
and meet up with them.
But they'll
But if you
register
can't
you
go
when you
to-
get your driver's license.
Yeah, but I understand. But if you cannot figure all of these things out, whether you like it, I don't think you deserve to vote. If you go, so you don't deserve to vote.
It's like
You-
with Caroline
you know,
Kennedy.
If you cared enough about it, you'd find out where to go.
She wanted to run. Caroline Kennedy wanted to run for the Senate seat that I think it was somebody, maybe it was Obama, had vacated. They didn't let her run because she hadn't voted in the last 7 elections. They knew that. They were able to find that out, and she was not eligible to run. 'cause
She wasn't eligible.
No, because she had not voted in the last 7
I
elections.
didn't know that was.
I didn't
Lonnie,
either.
let's take a quick break,
Stipulation.
and when we come back, I want to talk to everybody, give them their subject here, and we'll maybe come back. And do you think Nancy Pelosi will be the next
We got
Speaker of the
homework.
House?
We got homework
have
coming.
Okay,
Homework?
take a quick break.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in J next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in J next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff. Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Okay,
So we're trying to fix
wait a minute. Let me see if I'm correct here. I'm your host, BKP, Circuit World, Festivus for the rest of us. We got all that.
Good.
Rick, Jane, Candace, boom.
Good.
Okay, so a little history. The White House Press Corps had their first duties in the White House in the early 1900s. An urban legend exists. President Theodore Roosevelt noticed a group of correspondents in the rain looking for sources for their stories and invited them into the White House. Subsequently, historically research outlines how reporters were able to start with a small stories in the White House and then grew into their presence and influence over the span of many years. So the story is that Theodore seen them outside, gathered together in the rain, and invited them in.
The gaggle of reporters.
So he invited them in.
Invites
by invitation.
Exactly. So now, the freedom of the press, which we all hang our hat on, which I do too, but I don't see in the Constitution where it says the president has to talk to you.
No.
I don't see that.
There's
I don't see where they have to talk to you.
Dershowitz has come on. The great one, Mark Levin, has come on.
How did they weigh in?
They all said the same thing in Apollo,
it's
not
by
Napolitano.
the good pleasure of
Yeah,
the president.
right.
all
That's
said
the way I feel. I didn't.
That they do not have the
There's
right.
nowhere in the First
He
Amendment
was
that says
rude.
Jim
He was-
Acosta
I mean,
has to be in the White House.
That's all it is. And I'm so disappointed that Fox joined in.
I'm very
on that lawsuit.
very disappointed
I'm not
with
sure.
Fox News.
I'm not shocked either because they're part of the press association.
Yeah, they are. But
And-
they should take the
They're
stand. That
supposed
is
to take the
not
high road.
Well, what they should have
stopping his
reported
freedom
was
of
what the
speech.
brief was, and that is the brief written before the court hearing Wednesday. Lawyers arguing on behalf of the president laid out the defense strategy and maintained that Acosta's credentials were taken away because he disrupted the fair and orderly administration of a press conference during an exchange with the president.
That's what he did.
Mr. Acosta's decision to engage in conduct that disrupts press events and impedes other reporters from asking questions provides more than a sufficient reason for revoking his hard pass, the president's attorneys wrote. There is a federal judge that is going to adjudicate this morning. It was transferred yesterday from 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon to 10 o'clock this morning. The federal judge is going to rule on whether his hard pass credentials need to be given back to him. That doesn't mean that he needs to be called on.
Right. I would
doesn't-
not call
I
on
would
him.
never call on
Then they'll say he's suppressing his speech because
Send
I will
somebody else.
every year, and I'm going to say this from memory. Every year, they're good for 2 years. Every year, I get an email from the down in Atlanta from the press, the head of the press
Corps?
department of the Senate,
Oh, okay.
the Atlanta for Georgia, and the House of Representatives. So I have press credentials for an area for the representatives, and I have press credentials for the Senate. So I fill out a form every 2 years, and they have the right to revoke those. They could pull those. There's an area where if you go down and you cover the legislature for Atlanta, there's in Atlanta in the Gold Dome, there's a room where reporters can work. And there's a room where reporters can work, and as long as they got the credentials, they can go out on the floor throughout the day and try to get different representatives to either come in and do an interview or come in and
do they give you a code of conduct?
I don't remember if there's a code of conduct, but at the same time, at the same time, they can pull them. Now, I've gone to many press conferences with and I learned from Ted Cruz. I had the opportunity to ask Senator Cruz a couple questions. I've gone to press conferences like that where when you get in, reporters are always waiting to fire in that next question, and reporters get agitated if one reporter monopolizes the time.
Rightly so.
Right.
And they should.
And Acosta, they won't admit it, but there's several reporters that are not happy with the way Acosta manipulates it.
He said so on the
the time. So, but the point I was making is I don't think our Constitution protects the freedom of the press.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. Our Constitution, our forefathers never said that they had to talk to you.
No,
they don't have to talk to you.
They don't have to.
Look, there's press reporters from all over the world that want to get into that little bitty room.
I said the other day,
if they allowed everybody that wanted to get in,
I'm leaving Monday.
They'd be in a stadium.
I'm leaving Monday. If they let him in, I'm leaving Monday.
Yeah.
I'm going up there. I'm getting my
Well, that's what Rush Limbaugh said. What if me and all my friends?
That's exactly right. No, I said it on
you
my show the other day. I said if they rule in Acosta's favor for CNN, okay, I'm sending my paperwork Monday, and I'm going Tuesday and ask a question. I'm gonna stand out on that White House lawn and yell. Yeah, I want to talk to him. Get him out here now.
Do me a favor and wear that sweater when you go. Tell him you're airing your grievances.
That's it. I'm here.
Probably.
But you know what I mean?
To you before anybody else.
They only have 49 seats or something like that. But so okay, I don't want to take our time.
Jane's got a really good piece.
Okay, what you got, Jane?
Well, what irritates me is just another example of the hypocrisy, but I for the life of me, when it happens, I can't believe it happened again. Remember when Trump was running, he was really criticized for the fact that when he was building his hotels, he got tax breaks, and they came down on him like nothing. And now
everybody was coming down.
And saying he's rich, he's tax break of our city and all this, and now we have Amazon, billions, and no one says a word, and he'd have probably gone there anyway. Someone said, because he needs 50,000 workers, and how many places are there with 50,000 workers? But the fact that he's getting billions and for 25 years or something outrageous.
Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez did complain about that because the subway is crumbling and that they needed the tax base.
Oh, well.
So it's in her district too, isn't it? Long Island City?
It is. It is.
Okay, Jane, I for one do not believe in buying these corporations to come to town. I don't believe in it.
No.
I believe if you grow your business strong enough that you need more space, you will go out in your business plan and find more space. I just do not believe in it. It's something I've always been upset about. I can get into great detail of how I feel about the current governor of Georgia, and all of the great jobs he brought from the left coast here that voted Democrat, that he bragged about. You know, we brag about Georgia being the #1 place to do business. Great. Also, we brought a whole lot of blue votes here. A lot of blue votes.
And the infrastructure is already overgrown.
If Amazon would have come here, we'd have brought 25,000 more blue votes. But that being said, I didn't know New York City had the money to give away. I didn't know they had that money.
Como's under fire.
And I thought Trump did a tax break for his rich friends. But now if Democrats do a tax break in the area of billions of dollars for Bezos, I don't know, is that a rich friend? I don't know.
He's already had to raise his minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Good one. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did that. I'm just like really. these
Can't
people
believe it.
get these tax breaks. You don't think he should get the tax break to bring 25,000 jobs?
No, and then no, and you hear the people talking about all those people coming. The traffic's bad enough as it is. I mean, in that they should take it. If they want to help New York, go somewhere where they can help people that need the jobs. Not in New York City. I mean, the housing. There was just a long diatribe on that. And then Washington, the same thing. I mean, give me a break. You know, and I think about my son-in-law who pays 51% of his income into taxes. He makes a lot of money, but you just think he doesn't make as much as Bezos. The whole thing is it's just skewed wrong, and there's nothing we can really do about it except vote them out, and they won't do that. They're blind.
Well, they got on Bezos because all of his people were on subsidies from the government in order to live.
He was paying them crumbs.
He was paying them, crumbs, $7.25 an hour and stuff. Now he's paying them $15, but then he took away their benefits and any bonuses that they got.
I didn't know that. He took away their benefits?
Yes, that's how he scaled it back to make it work.
He's the devil incarnate. I mean, how greedy can somebody be?
Also owns the Washington Post. All right, you got a subject? Who's next?
Well, how about Alejandro Ortez?
We need Bruce here. Bruce can do it.
Yeah.
He says her name well.
Yeah, he does it better. Ocasio-Cortez. But the thing is that she was going to be...
Ocasio-Cortez.
Alejandro. It's not Alejandro.
We try. I'm just trying. I mean, everybody else got a chance.
Now pitching Alejandro Pena.
Yeah.
Pena.
Shut up. Go ahead.
She thought she was going to get inaugurated. Now she's found out she's just going to be sworn in. She can't afford an apartment and her house, which on $174,000 a year. I'm so sorry to hear that. And now she was already been arrested because she was in front of Pelosi's office with the protesters about climate change, which is supposedly Pelosi's starship. Or flagship or whatever. Oh yeah, she's.
I know she did it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I didn't get what
so
she
I mean,
was doing.
this is the kind of people that's going to the Congress this year. She wants the single payer. She wants housing for everybody. She says it's a generational investment. Now, figure that out. How do you pay for that if it's a generational investment? Unless you're going to have a house and then you bring it down to this kid and then that kid and this kid and you don't ever have to pay for it again or something. It's ridiculous, but that's what has been sent to the Congress this year.
I got a question. I'll pull a Brian. Yes or no? Does Pelosi maintain the speaker's?
Oh, good question.
You absolutely. There's an absolute.
I say no.
There's a no.
I say yes with the heavy heart.
They all. Let me tell you something. They're going in a room,
and
they're going. All these people that say that they're not, they're going in a room. And they're going to enter here, exit there, and when they enter, they're going to be telling the media, I'm not voting for her. And then when they exit, she is going to have groups in there beating the hell out of them people. And when they exit,
blackmailing those people is what she's going to do.
Oh, yeah. Nancy has the gap. Here's the interesting thing is, well, there's so many that say they won't vote her, but nobody has stepped up to run against her.
Marcia Fudge has.
Yes, she has.
Marcia Fudge.
Is that recent?
There's a contender.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that
there
was
is
this
a
morning.
I think she's a pretender, but there is a contender.
Yeah.
It would be such a super chop busting though if she lost, wouldn't it?
Not going to happen.
I want her there.
Yeah.
She's an idiot.
That's just what I want her there. We could have worked.
All right, I for one, you guys are great, but I for one, I don't see things like I see the media. What did you talk about? The media wanted you to talk about. The media wanted you to talk about that brain dead girl, whatever.
Somehow got an economics degree.
Right? And that she said when she's inaugurated, they wanted you to talk about it. They wanted you to talk about that. The media wanted you to talk about it. You know what they don't want you to talk about? When something starts and you run out of money. They don't want you to talk about They don't want to talk about Ryan and all the parting gifts he gave the other day, Paul Ryan, before he leaves to the Republicans. They don't want you to talk about that nothing changes, McCarthy's taking over. Okay, they don't want you to talk about that. They have set up what they want you to talk about. They don't want you to talk about that. Because I, for one, look at the camera and I don't see a difference in Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
So I'm not as concerned. I know it upsets some. I'm not as concerned that Nancy Pelosi will be Speaker of the House as I am that Paul Ryan's Speaker of the House, as I am that McCarthy's in tune. Let me tell you something. They keep trying to figure out. I go online and there's all these Republican groups that are holding meetings. They're holding meetings. You know what they are? We're going to have a meeting. The other day, Jim Jordan got what, 45 votes?
46.
There you go.
42.
Wait, so I didn't hear the outcome of that.
He
You
got
lost.
like
46 votes, and the other one got 100.
Kevin McCarthy is your minority leader now.
100 and whatever the difference is between that and 199.
So, and Paul Ryan and the Republicans, the money runs out December 7th.
And nobody's said anything about it lately.
You don't hear talking about it.
The only thing you heard is Schumer saying that if Whitaker doesn't recuse himself, that he's going to shut down the government.
They want you to talk about all that. They want you to talk about you. They don't want you to talk. Because I'm going to tell you now, let me go on the record saying this, okay? I guarantee you next year, all of a sudden, Republicans will find the debt. They'll start coming to the camera and say, the Democrats have sent the spending bill up and it will increase the debt by X. You guys were in charge last year and increased. So the Republicans will now find the debt, okay, for the ones that
all they do is trade places.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all they do is trade places. My wife and I talked about that yesterday. We're just getting both tired of just watching the flip-flop, every 4 years.
Right. They're saying this. They just take their
and
notes.
nothing gets done.
Okay, let me ask you this because I get the political answers, okay? Were we not told, and we're going to close this up because I got my next segment, but were we not told how many years that they were going to defund Planned Parenthood?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay. Sure. Defund it. Okay. How long ago was it that the four of us, take us, forget the rest of them out there, all of you out there, four of us. How long ago has it been since the four of us watched the deals with the lady sipping wine that made deals of selling body parts?
2.5 years.
Exactly, right? Yeah. But how many of those things have we discovered? Right? How many of those things are lawmakers, as just like the four of us, know that Planned Parenthood, our government, how many of you remember Henry Hyde and the Hyde Amendment?
Sure.
All right, Hyde, okay. Henry Hyde, okay. We are not supposed to spend federal tax money on abortions, period. Okay, we all know, and that's a personal preference out there. We'll leave that alone, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice. But we know that we're not supposed to spend federal tax. We all know that we send Planned Parenthood. They say they don't spend federal money that they get on abortions, but we all know that we send them money, right? And the money we send them, they pay the power bills, and they take the other money and divert it over for the abortion.
Same thing.
Right?
They didn't have the money.
Right, but they move the funds. But we all know that, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel this morning that you're any closer with the Republicans you voted in to defunding Planned Parenthood?
No.
Right.
No.
That's one subject.
And that's why they hate Trump, because he says a lot of the things he'll do, like going to Jerusalem for the consulate. Everybody else was talking about it. Nobody ever did it.
So wait a minute. What about next year? The Democrats. Let's wait to see the budget they send up. Are we going to get up in arms if it's $1.3 trillion? Because Ryan spent, Boehner, and they always kept spending 1.3 trillion, right?
It's already baked.
Right. So if the Democrats send up a 1.3 trillion dollar budget, but what if this time they send up one and they say we're now getting back to fully funding Planned Parenthood where it was back years ago? What's that do? Get us in an uproar? And then we get a Republican candidate that comes out there and says, you guys are in an uproar. And I know why, and I'm going to fix it.
But unless we pass an actual
Same stuff,
budget,
different day.
no one is, unless we pass an actual budget that goes to Congress, no one is required to stick to whatever the omnibus is. That's just a suggestion. Brian, I think we should spend $10,000 on this year's Christmas party. And you say, okay. And then we spend $10. Nobody's required to stick to the omnibus. It's just guidelines. It's not a budget.
I'm losing belief in the total system.
Right.
Period. That's what I am.
There is
I'm
no
losing
system.
belief in the total system. And
just
I've not, you know,
well.
I used to chair, I'm not a kid anymore. Newsflash. And,
There's a song there somewhere. You're not a kid.
I used to cheer. I used to cheer that this is a big change and this is going to make a big difference, and I just don't do that like I used to. I'll never forget the night Rick Santorum in Pennsylvania was elected. Right, and I went down to his party that night. I went downtown to his party, and Rick Santorum was the new senator from Pennsylvania, and just beat Harris Hines. And was that his name? I don't remember. But anyhow, I'll never forget that. And there was times like that I used to get out and put up signs till 4 in the morning. I mean, we used to go and take pickup trucks full of signs. And our candidates, well, I mean, we'd work till 4 in the morning, put up signs. I just don't believe in the system. I just don't. I mean, it's sad. And I think that's why I gravitate to Donald Trump, where people don't understand it and they get mad at me, and because he just doesn't say things that conventionally, it's not like he's cheering for, I don't know.
He's not a politician.
You understand what I'm saying? Am I losing anybody?
You're climbing like this, but it's on a
right.
Something that you don't go
treadmill.
anywhere. You're on a treadmill, and I told Candace the other day, I said, I haven't watched a lot of news. And she said, well, I have to. We have the show. And I said, I get so down. I mean, I hear my own people when I want to yell at them and have a connection fit, and they're saying the most horrible things, and I just get really down.
Believe it or not, whether you can believe this or not, because it would seem hard, can they ratchet it up any worse than it already is? Believe it or not, after Acosta's press credentials were pulled, CNN ratcheted up their hate 3 times higher for Trump. Watch it. Turn it on at 5 a.m. Well, you're not even up.
I can't bear to watch.
Quick. I've got. Oh, my star is here. Sorry, Jess. Sorry. I love you, Jess, but I'm sorry.
But it's a puppy.
I've got winners, losers.
Winners. I don't think we have either one. We lose. They win. They're never going to stop, urinating down our back and telling us that it's raining. So there we are.
Before I say, I want everyone, if you have time, to go and get Tucker Carlson's talk about CNN and how they did take away the right. They got Jones off they ranted about him, got him removed. It's a whole long thing about how CNN shuts down the right of speech and how they're doing this. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Well, the mood I'm in today, I think we lost. The Republicans lost. I don't care if we got the Senate. I know there's some things I've read that could help. He's going to appoint some judges. That's going to help. But really, I think all of us are going down the tubes, and it's sad. It's just what we're talking about. The whole country is going down the tubes. It's going to be socialistic when all these.
Say what you want. I have a doggy that'll brighten up everything.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Everybody will get brightened up.
I need to stay around for that one.
Rick?
When we had the Kavanaugh hearings, I was told on a daily basis, every minute, that we had to believe whatever the women said.
No, we were told that.
Hashtag me too. Believe what the women. You've got to
no matter
believe her
what.
story.
Yeah, I've seen too many.
It was
of that.
Kavanaugh's place to prove he didn't do it.
Where's the
not them.
outrage
But now
with
Michael
Avenatti?
Avenatti's upset.
Where?
Yeah.
Where is the outrage? He's saying, prove it, I didn't do anything.
Right. I've
Wait a
never
minute, we
been
were told that we were
Avenatti's
supposed to
going to
believe
jail.
the women. Where's the outrage? He's the loser of the week.
the hypocrisy.
He's a loser
All right, folks,
anyway.
we have to get Jesse
Unbelievable.
Barton in here with North Georgia Senior Living from Cameron Hall, the Community Affairs Director. So we have to get her in here, and then we have our Pet of the Week. So I just want to say, I think President's the winner. I like a guy that can go anywhere and tell the French, you would be speaking German. You know the lady next to you?
I love that.
You know the lady next to you, Angela, you know?
Hitler's
She
daughter, they
is
say.
like
Yes.
in charge of Germany. Now let's rewind. So what you want to do is you want to get with them and put a military together.
Seems like,
Hey.
do I hear
Seems
an
like
echo?
you would be speaking German. You do understand
Yeah,
that, right? That you were well on your way. They were teaching. I like a guy that has the nerve to do that. And Whitaker,
Yeah.
it is being said by all of the legal scholars and the bright minds, plus the Department of
Plus
Justice,
the DOJ.
plus the DOJ. That's what I was saying. Plus the DOJ. Those
token
over
idiots.
there, they say there's no reason Whitaker cannot serve.
That's what they say.
And the media is back to, well, we're going to go back to the chalkboard and we're going to create chaos in the White House. So when all else fails, let's go back and create chaos in the White House and see if we can cause problems there. So.
You know how they say Whitaker is slanted to Trump's
Yes, he
side
had
with his
his
opinions.
opinion.
He says some opinions. Look at Mueller. Mueller was with the Clintons in the uranium one deal. He took the uranium down. I mean,
That's
everyone
totally
knows
different.
it. But and all of his lawyers were Democratic. Remember, they had no one
And all of his
in his.
investigators.
yeah.
So
We got to cut it out. Listen, you remember
yeah.
you remember kids when you were little and you played baseball and you had
awesome.
the little brother like me that struck out but always wanted to do over. Remember the kid? I want a do-over. That was my brother. I want a do-over. No, it's strike 3. There's 3 strikes in the game. No, I want a do-over. Stacey Abrams wants a do-over.
Strike
No,
three,
you
three.
lost.
Yeah.
You lost. No, I want a do-over. There you go. We'll be back after
There's
these
no
messages.
mulligans in politics.